Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for this demo video of DBeaver Team Edition. My name is Zach Antunes and I'm a solutions architect here at DBeaver. As I mentioned in my other videos, I'm doing this series in a progressive fashion because each successive version of DBeaver contains all the features of the last. In the case of Team Edition though, not only does it have all the features that CloudBeaver has, but it also includes the features of our desktop version called Ultimate Edition, which I showed you in a previous video. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. For now, let's discuss Team Edition. The way I like to start off talking about Team Edition is by starting with the name. Team Edition was designed with teams and collaboration in mind. Primarily, this means that you can create and share projects with distributed team members and then tailor their access to their role. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, as you can see, I'm logged into the Team Edition browser UI, and I've got a couple projects here that I've set up, and I am logged in as an administrator. So let's go ahead and open up the administration tab and see how I've set up those projects. So I'm in this projects tab, and then as you can see, again, I've got this IT project and I've got this sales project. Now, just like with all the other versions of DBeaver, projects are a great way to segment your workflows. With Team Edition, though, it's especially important because with Team Edition, you can segment different teams into different projects. So let's show you what I mean. Now, I've got this IT project again, and I've got this sales project set up, but you could set it up along the lines of perhaps your development workflow. So you could do like a development project, a staging project, a production project, and then you can assign both your databases that are associated with those parts of your development project or development workflow to that project, and you can also assign team members to those projects as well. So for example, in your development project, maybe you have your IT team, your developers. In your production project, maybe you have the front office folks, data analysts, sales team that have access to that production data. But again, I've done this IT project and this sales project, and let's go ahead and see how I've set up access to that. So in this access field, I can just click edit, and then I can add whoever I want. But in my case, I added the developer and I added myself, the admin. And then in the sales project, I've added the account executive, the sales manager, and the data analyst. And I'll go through each one of these roles and show you basically what they see on their end so you can get an idea of how the different roles in DBeaver Team Edition work. Now, we've got those set up. And while I'm in here, I'll point out that many of the admin settings are the same as in CloudBeaver, these settings here on the left. So if you haven't been through these, I'll encourage you to watch my CloudBeaver demo video to see what's all here. One of the differences, though, is that with Team Edition, you can sync your projects to GitHub. So, for example, I've gone ahead and I've synced this sales project with a GitHub repository. And then I've gone ahead, I just triggered this enabled toggle here, added in my repo URL, and then I clicked all of these elements that I want to share with my repository. And then as well, there's this Git settings tab. Very simple. Here's where you put in your username for, in my case, GitHub, and then I put in my user auth token as well. And then there is one other feature I wanted to point out. I didn't get the chance to show off how this feature works in the CloudBeaver Demo Edition, but that's the global preferences. So there's an option to change around, for example, like the theme. I'm using a dark theme, but specifically I wanted to call out a very useful feature that a lot of folks take advantage of, which is this, basically this disable area here where I can disable table presentation, copy, export, and edit for non-admin users. Actually, this first one's for all users. The last three are for non-admin users. So I'll go ahead towards the end, come back, and then show you how these work and how it affects what the other roles do. But for now, let's go ahead and let's jump back into the UI and let's take a look at what all these different roles are able to do. So as I mentioned, I'm logged in as the administrator. And as the administrator, I can add connections to these projects, which I've already done. So just to show you, I can add a new connection here. I could edit existing connections if I want to. So I can decide on the host name, the database that I want to log into, the connection name. I could share these credentials with my teammates. I could change around the authentication type that I want to use. I could change around the driver properties, use an SSH tunnel, use SSL encryption or not. And then I could also do everything that your most technical users are going to want to do. So I could go ahead and open up this table here. I could change this data around. I could filter this data, I could add rows and columns, do everything that you saw in my CloudBeaver demo video. I have a ER diagram there, not a ton in it. My properties tab that you saw in my last CloudBeaver video, and then I've got these charts here as well. So your admin is going to be somebody senior, so maybe a DevOps engineer or a sysadmin. Now, moving on, I will also show that in my, let's show in my Postgres database, I can also run SQL scripts. And just to give you an idea of how that looks on the other end, let's do select all from, let's do customer, I think I can just do customer C. Run that. Got this customer table down here. I'm going to save this script just so you can see what it looks like on the back end. We'll call this the customer script Postgres. Save that. Looks good. Now let's move on. And I am using this thing called an Arc browser. I'll just give a quick shout out to them. It makes my demos really easy because I can basically log into different profiles and show you how these different profiles look without having to log in and out of my browser. So it just makes my demo very seamless. Thanks to the folks who developed that. So now I'm logged in as the developer role that I showed you. And as you can see, or perhaps as you remember, I have access to that IT project that I gave access to as an admin. And then as the developer, I've got this Pokemon table open here, so I can change this data around. Again, I could run a SQL script if I wanted to. I could even use that SQL script that I developed here. I could run that SQL script as well. So that makes collaboration a lot easier. I can add connections to this project. I can edit existing connections. The one difference between the admin and the developer role is that I don't have that administration tab that you saw in the administration portal. So I can do everything that the administrator can do, but the only thing I'm not going to be concerned with as a developer is adding users, creating project workspaces, setting up the server, really anything like that. So this is going to be your most technical user who's not an admin. Moving on, the next most privileged role is going to be this manager role. I like to think of it as a data analyst. And what I mean by that is, as a data analyst, what are some of the things that I'm going to want to be able to do? Well, I'm going to want to be able to interact with the data. So if I open up this table here, you can see that I can interact with this data. I can change this data around. I can view the ER diagrams, view the properties of the database. I could run a SQL script if I wanted to. The key difference here, though, is that I don't have the ability to add connections to this sales project that I was given access to. So I do need the developer or the admin to actually give me connections to work with. But once I have those connections, I can be very technical with them. Again, I just can't change around the authentication types, change around the credentials, none of that. As a manager, I'm basically just concerned with interacting with this data here. Moving on, I'm in the editor role now. I did label it the sales manager, but it's called the editor role. And as you can see, I don't have anything I'm actually working with here in this sales project. So I can't add any connections, and I don't really have anything to work with here. I've got, it looks like there's going to be something called a data set. So I need someone to set up that data set for me. So what I could do is I could bounce back to this manager role, and then I could go ahead and do something like open up this SQL editor, and I can say something like select all from, let's do customer, C where country equals USA. Let's run that. So now I've got this data set down here, and then I can go ahead and I can save this script. So I'll call this TEUSA customer script. Save that. And then I can save this data set here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add this data set. We'll call it TEUSA customers script. Save that. And then now I've got that data set up here. And I've got that script up here as well, saved in that project folder. And then when I move back into this editor role and I refresh, now I've got that data set that got set up for me. So as an editor, I can now edit this data if I want to, filter the data. I can view these USA customers as a chart. But that is what I'm able to see. I'm able to see what other people give me access to. So this is going to be probably more of a front office user and not someone like, for example, that data analyst that we talked about. And then last but not least is going to be this viewer role, AKA the least privileged role. And as a viewer, I can see this data set that I was given access to, but it's locked, so I can't make any changes to it. And then I can also see those charts as well. And then the last thing I wanted to give you an idea of is how those global preferences work and how they can prevent certain behaviors you might want to avoid, again, like disabling table presentation, copy, export, and edit. So if I go back to my administration page, open this up, and let's go to global preferences, and let's go ahead and disable 3 of these. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to save that. And then if I go back to my developer page, for example, apply those changes. And if I want to, let's say, open up a table, you can see this table is now locked. I can't make any changes. There's no export feature, so I can't export that table anymore. And then I'm going to go ahead and click copy and pick, Command C to copy. And then the copy was disabled for me as well. So hopefully you can see how this will all be useful once you start reaching a certain scale on your team. Additionally, since we connected to the GitHub repository, everything is backed up with Git. So I just wanted to show you what that looks like on the back end. So here's my GitHub repository, that sales project that we talked about. I've got my scripts in here, or my script in here rather. I've got that data set. And then I've got all my project settings, my connections, things of that nature. So I've got that set up. And then as well, I was going to show you how everything looks with the Team Edition desktop UI. So let's go ahead and open that up. Just going to log in here. And as you can see, it's got that same look and feel as the Ultimate Edition. So I can now open this up. I could change this data around. And then additionally, I can actually save tasks to that project folder, to that GitHub repo that I mentioned. So if I wanted to go ahead and create some new tasks that you saw in my Enterprise Edition, don't have any in here, but I could create a new task and then save that to GitHub. So if you want to see everything that's in the desktop Team Edition, or the Team Edition desktop rather, I'd encourage you to watch all 3 of my demo videos, Lite, Enterprise, and Ultimate. All of those features are available in the Team Edition desktop. And that, my friends, is everything I wanted to show you. If you've tuned in for all my videos, then I offer you my sincere thanks. If you have any questions or you'd like me to demo any of these products for you, feel free to reach out to us either at sales@dbeaver.com or support@dbeaver.com. Or if you'd like to get in touch with me directly, I'm on LinkedIn. Again, my name is Zach Antunes. I'm a solutions architect here at DBeaver. Thanks again for tuning in.